So now let's move on to doing the assessment contributions. Now, assessment contributions, these are the ones that will determine how much each subject contributes towards the end score or the final score per term. Now, already one thing that I notice here is that these assessments have been done incorrectly, because you have this CAT and MT contributing 20 and then end of term 80, but giving you 120. So it's possible that maybe this CAT should not contribute anything, maybe it should be the midterm. But if you want both to contribute, and you know that end of term contributes 80, then you should split this. This should be 10 and that one should be 10. Okay, if that's how you want to have it. So it's possible you could have test 1, test 2, test 3. So let's assume we had something like this: test 1, test 2, and test 3. And then we have end of term. Okay, and you want all these to contribute something to the final score. So what you might do then in that case is, if let's assume that the end of term contributes 70. If the end of term contributes 70, then these should share, for example, 10, 10, 10 to give you a total of 100. So when you are doing these assignments, where you put contributions is here, assessment contributions. So when you click on assessment contributions, you have these 3 assessments right now. CAT, which I don't know what it is, but we have end of term and midterm. So if these 2 should contribute towards that 20%, then when you are assigning them, you must say, so you do something like this. You can say, for example, term 1, CAT will be 10 and MT. So when you put something like this, what you're saying is each of these assessments that you've ticked is contributing 10. Alright? Each of them is contributing 10. So altogether these are going to be 20. You know, that's what that means. And so you have to be careful. But before we do this assignment of contributions, notice that these are going beyond 120, and because of that misapplication of subjects, we need to redo these contributions. Okay, we need to redo the contributions, and that is why to remove any if you notice that you're trying to build results and maybe you don't see certain results, just go to the contributions and ensure that a particular subject has contributions. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to delete everything here. So sometimes you might want to delete only a few. Maybe they're duplicate assessment contributions you might have noticed. So you can tick those that you want to delete, and then just click the delete button. But if you want, the easiest way to redo everything is not to delete one by one, but to simply tick this and then say delete, and to remove everything so that you redo it. Okay, so I'll just tick all that. I'll tick that and then I'll say delete, and it will remove all the contributions. So now there's nothing. Now let me just verify which of these assessments is actually contributing anything between CAT and MT. So if I say, for instance, term 1 2019, if I say CAT, do we have results there? We don't have anything. And if I say MT, so you can see that midterm has. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to assign this MT to 20 instead of it sharing together with that CAT, which has nothing. So I'm going to give MT 20, and I'm going to give end of term 80. Right? So I'll go back to assessment contributions, and then you click on this one. So you have 3 tabs here. You have the pivot view, which gives you an easier view. Then if you need to delete certain things, you go to the list view, and then if you want to assign, you go to assessment contributions here. So I'm just going to do for term 1, then later we can do term 2, term 3, and so forth. So if I select term 1, I'm going to say that MT, and by the way, if you don't need this CAT, you can actually delete it. Or if maybe you have odd results for CAT, but you're no longer using CAT, and you want to use only empty, you can actually match the two. And how to do that is you'd go to assessments, and down here you have this match assessments. So if there are any results from CAT, you can match them into empty. They'll all be moved. So you're going to have something like that. And sometimes it's possible you could have defined two midterm assessments. Maybe one, I've seen schools doing something like they'll say midterm with a space, and then at some other time they'll define midterm with no space. So the system ends up having two midterm assessments. So you can match them like this. You can choose which one you want here. If you want one with no space, then this will go there, and then this one will come here. So when you say move or merge, it will move everything from this midterm to this one, and then it will delete the old one. So you can do the same thing for that. Now let's get back to contributions. So you go there, and then we say term 1 midterm gets 20, and then you have to pick junior section. Of course you can assign these things differently, but for now we would say that this applies to all classes and all subjects. Alright, and then you click save. Alright, so and it's done. If you want to view that, you can actually see it later when you do a refresh. But you're not yet done. You've only done for junior, but you can do the same for senior. Right? Yeah, so you can do the same for senior. So we do that, and then also do that, and save. Senior classes are more, so yeah. But now it's done. So then to do for end of term, we change there and say 80, and then make sure that you untick this, remove this, and tick that one. Because if you tick both, you end up having two definitions for midterm, one with 80, the other one with 20, and then you end up having wrong results. So I've unticked empty, I've ticked EOT, and then said 80 for senior. Now save, without having to untick all these other things down. And then I'll just change the section to junior, and then tick all the junior classes, and tick all the junior subjects, and then save. So now we should have the correct thing. If you refresh this, there, this is how it should read. The total there should be 100 per term. The total should be 100. Of course, you could have done it for the other terms like term 2 and term 3 and so forth. But there at least you can now see. And if you want to maybe have a proper view of this, what is this doing? Okay. Yes, so if you want to have a proper, you can actually even move the subject somewhere, let's say here. Because we know that it's only term 1, we can remove the term. Put this here. So you see that for each subject, then you can see each assessment. Okay, how much each one contributes. And here we do not have like agric, science, additional, so it is possible that these are not in this class. You know, they're not in this class and in these classes. Good. So now the next step would be to build the results, and I'm going to show you that in the next video. Okay, once you're done with the assessment contributions, you need to build the results, and when the results build is done, then you can view your results.